Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to your very own astrology channel. Are you all charged up? I hope you all are. But before we proceed with the astrological topic that we'll take up today in this episode, I like to wish you all my lovers, my subscribers, and whosoever is watching my video and wheresoever in the world he or she might be in. I would like to wish you all a very happy Merry Christmas. May this Christmas bring into your life all the joy, peace, happiness, all the positive vibrations, and may all your wishes come true. May all your wishes come true. So if you are a boy or a girl searching for a partner of your dreams, may you get the partner of your dreams this day or this year, I shall say, this coming year. Or if you are that one businessman who wants to reach that culmination point of success and leave his mark onto that professional, leave his mark in that professional arena, may your dream come true. And whatsoever, either small or big a wish of yours is, may I just pray to God that all your wishes come true and you discover a reason to live. That's the most important thing. So, but the point is that why am I wishing you Christmas? Actually, it's the 24th of December in India, and it's the night time. It's still 3 to 4 hours for the Christmas day to kick in, and by the time this video will be reaching to you people, it will be post Christmas, or it will be Christmas. So why am I wishing you in advance? Well, the reason for that is that Christmas is a day of joy. It's the day of celebration. It's the day of liberation. It's the day which connotes the victory of good over evil. So it's the day that just meant to be celebrated. It's Christmas time. It's party time. You're gonna go all hippie this day. So, and I have personally been compromising on my dose of freedom for a couple of weeks. The work commitments kept me very busy, and that was the very reason I could not upload the video for the last 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, I make it a point that I shall at least churn out a video one day to you people. And unfortunately, for those last 3-4 days, I haven't been able to do so because all the work things, all the things at the office, and then the rest of the stuff had kept me busy for so long. So I got up early today. And since then I have been literally working like a donkey. I have been making videos. I have been editing the videos that I made previously. I had been covering all the stuff that had been pending over the weeks because tomorrow I'm taking a leave from the office. I just want to have my dose of freedom because I don't want to be coming from that Christmas party late from the discotheque and wondering that I got to make a video for my subscribers, for my lovers. I got to complete the work commitments, else I gonna be screwed, or that there would be a lingering sense of personal dissatisfaction that after you get home you have got loads of work pending and to complete. So guys, it's time to quickly get on to the basics, and today we'll be studying about the third house in Vedic astrology. That what does the third house in Vedic astrology stand for? What is the significance of the third house in a person's or in an individual's horoscope, or the Vedic astrology chart, whatever you call it as. What all events, what all things, what all professions, what all people in our life are controlled by the third house in our chart. So let's go ahead and just bring up the chart. Come with me. Hey guys, here are we with the chart, with the Vedic chart that's hanging out there. So let's bring it up. So if you can see it out here, this particular region, I have already told you what a Vedic chart in astrology looks like. But this particular region in the Vedic astrology chart always signifies the third house. No matter which planet is controlling this house, which planet is placed in this house, this particular area this the first house, this the second house, this the third house. So this particular marked region will always remain the third house in your horoscope. And if there is any planet that is placed in this particular marked section, you can blindly say, of course you cannot tell that which sign is it in, because for that we will have to study the other things, that which all ascendant you are. Based upon that the sign changes. But if let's suppose your Venus or your Saturn or your Rahu or any planet is placed in this particular section, then you can blindly say that Venus is placed in the third house in my horoscope. So what is the third house all about? Well, in order to study the houses, I told you that we got to take into consideration a Vedic theory that is of extreme importance. I shall not say even extreme importance. Actually, it's imperative. It's essential to study what the houses in Vedic astrology stand for. And I like to reiterate that Vedic theory over and over, and I'll do it here in the third house astrology episode also. And according to that Vedic theory, whenever we take a house into consideration, whenever we take a particular house into consideration and count 12 places from that house, with a counting beginning from that house itself. I repeat, whenever we take a house into consideration and we count 12 places from that house with the counting beginning from that house itself, then the house that we reach to, then the house that we arrive to represents the qualities or the attributes that are totally contrary, that are totally in non-compliance to the house from which we begin the counting. Or in other words, we can say that the house that we reach to represents the qualities that are totally contrary and in non-compliance to the house that we took into consideration. So now, in this episode, there's no doubt we are going to study about the third house in Vedic astrology. So let's see how we'll study about the third house. For that, as I told you in the previous episodes, this is the first house, this is the second house, this is the third house, this is the fourth house. So in order to study the third house, we'll begin the counting from the fourth house. And this is the fourth house that we are taking into consideration in order to study the third house. So we'll begin counting 12 places from the third house. Okay, this is the fourth house, so I'll start the counting from here itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, we reached at the third house. Our goal gonna be fulfilled. So what is that Vedic theory? What does that Vedic theory say if we apply it here? We took into consideration the fourth house. We started the counting from the fourth house. We reached to the third house. That is, according to that Vedic theory, the third house in Vedic astrology is totally represents the events, qualities, professions, people that are totally contrary to that are represented by the fourth house. Or you can say it the either way. The third house is not equal to the fourth house. The fourth house is totally different from the third house. You say it either way, whichever way you feel like, but the literal meaning of it remains the same. And this is what we have deciphered out, that third house is not equal to the fourth house. This is what's gonna come in very handy in order to study the third house in Vedic astrology, right? So guys, now that I told you that the third house is not equal to the fourth house, so in order to understand what does the third house in Vedic astrology stand for, we have to consider what does the fourth house in astrology stands for. And what does the fourth house in Vedic astrology stands for? The fourth house in Vedic astrology is the house of the mother. It's the house of the motherly nourishment and love. It's the house of the family. It's the house that represents your family members, the people of your homeland, any people who you are emotionally attached to, who you know would stand by you in the tough times when you are going through the poignant and the doleful or the unfortunate circumstances in your life. So it is from the fourth house that we see that tomorrow, if you are falsely alleged, let's suppose if you are falsely alleged for a crime, and the whole world's believe that you are the sole culprit, then do you have that family, or if not the family, do you have that one sole figure, that is your mother, standing like a pillar, standing like a rock behind you, who is your pillar of strength, who believes that you are the one who hasn't done anything, and it is her blessings, it is her emotional support that helps you come out of that problem. What else the fourth house in Vedic astrology represents? Fourth house in Vedic astrology represents the luxuries and comforts in life. Or if I were to say it in a more simplified manner, I could say that fourth house in Vedic astrology represents the conveniences in our life, and it could be the convenience of practically anything. It could be the convenience of traveling by a two-wheeler rather than traveling barefoot. That is you possessing that two-wheeler, or it could be the convenience of you possessing that four-wheeler, or rather than a two-wheeler. It could be the convenience of traveling by a jet, by an aircraft rather than by a ship. It could be the convenience of staying in a five-star when you go out on the luxury vacations rather than putting up in the three-star. It could possibly be the convenience related to anything in life. Like it could be even the convenience of laying in a mom's lap, and that's the biggest convenience in life. It could be the convenience of you are very sure of the fact that no matter what happens, when I go home, I have certain people in my life who love me to that extent that they are gonna support me no matter what all situations in life I am going through. So it could practically be the convenience of anything, and this is all represented by the fourth house. So the third house becomes totally opposite to the fourth house, and the third house is the one that we are going to study today. So what does the third house represents? It will represents all the things that are totally contrary to, like I just told you about the fourth house. So third house represents the things that are totally contrary to the fourth house things that we talked of just right now. So unlike the fourth house of luxuries, comforts, conveniences, third house is the house where the luxuries, comforts, conveniences of the life are missing. It's the house of self-courage, willpower, self-effort. It's the house where you are stepping out of that home, or even if you are in that home, the third house signifies circumstances where you are fighting your own battle, where you are facing the harsh realities of life. You are fighting your own battle, where you are that single soldier, where you are that single man army who is fighting his own battle without the emotional support of your family, without the financial, without the emotional, financial, economic, without any support, without any emotional nourishment from either your mother or your family members. It is the house which tests your resilience levels. That is, do you have it in you? Are you capacitated with that kind of a never say die spirit, that you can bounce back to work after being bogged down by, after going through something that had bogged down you a day earlier? It's the house that tests how malleable and ductile you are. That is, are you adaptable? How adaptable are you to the circumstances? So today I am living in this lovely bungalow, I am living in this lovely mansion. So tomorrow, let's suppose if I have to leave all these luxuries and comforts of life, do I have it in me that I can put up in that one room rented house and live my life? Today I have a lot of money in my bank balance. Tomorrow, if I am left with nothing, do I have the capacity in me that I can start my life on my own from the scratch? So it's the house that tests all these things. It's the house of willpower, courage, self-effort, inconveniences. It's basically the house that wants you to become a self-made man, self-accomplished man. It's the house that wants you to stand on your own feet. And the third house in Vedic astrology, or is it the planets that are placed in the third house? is either the third house or the planets in the placed in the third house. They all make you work very hard. They all make you work your ass off. I mean, they are not easy things to easily go through. But as it is said that you don't achieve anything in life, unless you put in your hard work, and hard work never goes in vain. And likely is the third house. So although it is kind of a defamed house in astrology, because it is considered to be a house of inconveniences, and where you are drilling, where you are just working your ass off to prove that you are something, to prove that you can do things on your own without any backing up from the family members or the people of your homeland. But this house progresses with time. And why? Because it's the house of hard work. So although this house or the planets in this placed in this third house make you work very hard, but ultimately when you have worked that hard, as these planets wanted you to work that hard, once you have inculcated in you all the qualities of persistence, perseverance, hard work, and once you have actually learned to how to run on that fireballs, this is the time when the third house or the planets placed in the third house, they say that okay, now this individual has finally passed the test, finally passed the test that I put him through or put her through. So it's the time to reward this person. And this is the time when you ask for let's suppose one chocolate, and the third house or the planets placed in the third house would literally bless you with two or three. So it's the house or the planets placed in this house are not easy to deal with, but they grow with time. And this is the reason why third house in Vedic astrology is a very important house, and it is the house of desires. It is also considered to be, it is actually represented by it is the original house of Mercury, and Mercury controls the sign Gemini. So it's the house which literally represents, you are regularly on the move, you are just fighting with problems like a bull head on, you are just facing the difficulties, but ultimately you emerge as a victorious soldier. This is the literal meaning, this is what the third house in Vedic astrology wants to teach you people. So guys, now that you have finally learned that the third house or the planets placed in the third house put you through a hard test only to bless you with something remarkable in the end, but you won't that stuff, that this theoretical stuff would not go into your head until and unless I validate it with examples. And I do love giving examples. What I really believe is, if I tell you something and if I don't validate it with examples, then it's kind of a similar situation. If you send a child to that topless bar, he'll get it all that why is that, why is that striptease happening, why are there naked women dancing, and why all this stuff is going on, but what's the purpose of it? He'll never get that. Anyways, that was just a joke, but let me tell you about the third house with the examples. So let's suppose if you have a planet like Saturn in the third house, then what can you make of it? Well, you go to study what is Saturn. Saturn is the Karaka. It is the significator of profession in our horoscope. It is the planet of hard work that wants you to work hard. So wheresoever it might be placed in your chart, either in the first house, second house, third house, 12th house, 10th house, any house it is placed in, it'll create some sort of a tension regarding the things that are represented by that house. So in order to get the things represented by that house, Saturn is obviously going to make you work very, very hard. But when Saturn comes into the third house, it makes you work more hard. At least I have seen in my personal life, when Saturn is placed into the third house, it makes you work doubly hard as compared to its placement in any of the other houses. And it makes you work like 10 to 20 hours in a single day, such as the energy that Saturn brings into your life when it falls into the third house of your horoscope. So, but here Saturn wants to teach you a lesson by putting you through all those troubles, through all those unfortunate circumstances. It really wants to teach you something that lays the foundation of your success, because it ultimately at the end, maybe 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, it wants to bless you with something extraordinary. And likely the test gonna be very tough. So what might happen in this situation is that Saturn, which is the karaka or the significator of profession, might make you start your own business, especially when that planetary period of Saturn comes. Then there could be a circumstance where the family doesn't support you, or you yourself, maybe the family is supportive, but you yourself would be driven to start a business enterprise by your own, or with a fellow colleague, with a fellow friends, as third house is also the house which represents our fellow acquaintances, our colleagues, our the people we meet on the day-to-day basis. So you could start up a business enterprise, you could plan to start up a business enterprise with one such friend. Now, while you blindly trusted that friend when you were signing those memorandum of associations, or those partnership documents, or those collaboration, the legal collaboration papers, that we are partners, we are 50-50 partners in this particular firm. You trusted that person blindly, and before signing any of those documents, you would not squeamishly or priggishly dig into the details that what exactly is the legal procedure like. And while you could meet up a partner that you chose, who was a 50-50 partner with you in that enterprise, he might be a moron, he might be a opportunist rather, but he might be a very shrewd, malicious, and cunning opportunist. I don't spill that word, right? So what he might do is that since he doesn't have the full finances with him right now, he asks you to join him in business. You invest the 50-50 money into that business, start up that enterprise. But since that person, he is very cunning, and you didn't take note of the legal documents and read every line, every word while you were signing them, then this person might have something cooking in his mind, that when this company is going to reach a level wherein it starts flourishing like anything, and I have enough finances to purchase the company and be a sole owner without this person, then what this person might do, that he might kick your ass off when this company finally takes off. This person will kick your ass off, and that too legally, because you were not familiar with the legal details. He might screw you, and you would not be in a state even to take legal action against this person. So what Saturn here is, so although it will be very humiliating for you, it will be like a disaster for you, it will be like a setback for you, but Saturn here has a lesson for you to learn. It wants you to learn that, hey dude, it's not the fourth house thing. You are not operating within your family, or with or you are starting a business with your mother, wherein you are very sure of the fact that those people who you are working with your family members would not ditch you, at least for money. Here, instead, you are into the third house, where you are facing the harsh realities of life. You are fighting your own battle. You will be coming across people who might take advantage of you. So you cannot trust anyone blindly over here. Or let's suppose this person gets a loyal partner. That partner doesn't cheat him throughout the life. Then what might happen with this individual is that these two people, they run the enterprise, and finally they launch this big project with great enthusiasm, and they invest whatever savings they had, whatever they had put into the company, they had put into their entire marketing project. And they invested a lot on the integrated marketing communications. They were giving ads in the newspapers, on the websites, and even that project took off very well. But what might happen in the end is that they had to withdraw the project, because although these two people, they had a shrewd marketing acumen, they had that marketing knack and aptitude to make that plan flourish, to make that plan work. But since these two guys were not that familiar with the financial aspects that go into the plan, that is the budgeting of that plan. So what might happen is that these people might run out of funds at the last moment, and that's the probable reason that they might have to withdraw that marketing plan that took off so well, and ultimately it could have been a pinnacle of success for them could ultimately land up in a total disaster. So here Saturn wants to actually teach these people the lessons that the business is not all about the legal details. Of course, it's about the legal details, but it's also about the financial things. So if you are wondering that just because you are familiar with the legal aspects of opening up an enterprise, and you have that marketing knack and aptitude and skill to make that marketing plan a success, doesn't mean that success will come to you. You got to hone up your skills when it comes to the financial domain as well. Or let's suppose what else? Let me give another example. What could happen with this individual is that while this company was a success, while this company was doing well for 5 years, and of course, since this was a single individual, he was the single individual who had put across the plan, who had put across his head on the table. He was the one who started the plan, who patronaged this marketing company. But the online operations of this company were controlled by a computer geek, somebody who was a computer engineer, or somebody who was skilled in programming. Then what might happen is that 5 years down the line, this programming guy, that something comes in his brain, and he, out of the blue, although he was working for let's suppose 10,000 rupees a month, then he would finally come up with this guy and says that I require to be paid 1 lakh rupees a month, that is 10 times the amount. Out of the blue, he might say that, and he might actually tell this person that if I am not paid that salary of 1 lakh rupees per month, I am going to screw that entire programming, I am going to screw that entire database on which your entire online marketing operations are based on. And this person has no option but to grant him that money. Of course, he would be doing it out of his unwillingness. He will have to ultimately give that, because ultimately, if he doesn't, the company is going to shut down. So what here Saturn wants to teach this individual is that okay, now you have got familiar with the legal aspects of the business. You have finally understood that you require the marketing knack and aptitude. You have also learned how to be a master when it comes to numbers, and be familiar with all the things that go into the financial planning, budgeting, and taking care of the investors. But you got to also learn programming, so that at least learn programming that much that tomorrow, of course, you are not a robot. If you are that sole person controlling that company, of course you need hands to support you, and you cannot control that entire IT department. But if you would have some knowledge of the programming, then you got to at least make sure that you have your passwords and that programming thing well protected, so that somebody might not take undue advantage when when your marketing plan suddenly takes off, or when you start making profits, somebody might not come in and might erode you of those profits. So guys, what all you can make by the examples that I just gave you, that Saturn might put you through this test, this test, and why the Saturn puts you through all those unfortunate situations. Well, it's because of the fact that Saturn here wants to teach this individual that success in this business sphere doesn't come to any individual overnight. And if you dig into those stories, Saturn wants to tell to this individual that if you take out the story of any person who is a paragon of success for you to follow right now, who is at the pinnacle of success, who is at the highest point, who is at the apex of success, that if you go to visualize somebody like Bill Gates, somebody like Lakshmi Mittal, somebody any damn person who is up there in that business sphere, then that person has gone through one of the toughest phases in his life. So Saturn here wants to teach this individual that you got to learn it all. Success won't come to your doorstep overnight. You got to earn it. You got to work hard for it. You got to work your ass off for it. So here this Saturn person might make this person's business enterprise fail, firstly because he was not familiar with the legal aspects. Then this person finally realized that what all legal things are required to set up their enterprise, and so that anybody may not screw me legally tomorrow. Then finally this person learns the legal aspects. Then his company failed because he didn't launch a proper marketing plan. So here Saturn wants to teach this individual that now that you have learned it legally, you got to learn what type of marketing plan is required that might bring you success. What kind of you got to be familiar with what are the latest marketing trends. Not only you got to release your product based on the strengths of your companies, but you got to do the entire SWOT analysis. That is, you got to take into consideration the strengths of your company before launching the product. You got to take into consideration the weaknesses of your company before launching that product. You got to take into consideration the threats, that is the social, economical and the political changes that might not be in your favor. That is, you got to also take into consideration the strengths of the competitor who are out there in the market before launching your product, so that when you launch that product, not only is that revolutionary in nature, but you are making sure that the product that you are launching is totally you are offering something to the customers that's very different in nature, that differentiates your company from the cattle class or from the rest of the companies that are operating out there in the business sphere. Finally, when you learned the marketing thing, your company might now fail. The events would be like your company would lack the funds, or you would not take care of the financial aspects when it comes to launching that product. And finally your company fails since the investors were not happy, or your company failed since the bank didn't give you that loan at the last moment, or there was some problem with the financial domain of your company. Now you learned everything related to the finance as well, and finally your company failed because you didn't have any knowledge of the programming, of the online marketing, of how to let your business reach across 1 million people. It is not about just working your ass off. It's also about working the smart way, working the way an individual in this modern dynamic day, age and era should be operating like. That is, he must be making use of websites, he must be making use of YouTube and the other mediums to reach not only the people in his own state or in his own country, but if he got to reach that pinnacle of success, he got to tap in that worldwide audiences. And internet is the best medium to to bring in that in that worldwide audience. Know that you are some identity, you are some enterprise working here in India, offering these services, so that somebody tomorrow may come from America or Australia or Africa, and may he may just buy your services or the products that you are offering. So this third house actually has a childlike energy, it has a childlike enthusiasm. So what happens with the child? The child falls, but does he give up? No, absolutely he doesn't. He gets up again, he again falls, and finally he learns the lessons of life. And gradually, when he progresses, when he learns from the experiences, or when he went through that fall, when he learns something, finally he becomes an athlete. And this is what Saturn does when it's placed in the third house. It will make you go through all those troubles, like you are like a child for that Saturn. It will make you fall 10 times before you finally decide to climb that Mount Everest, to reach that pinnacle, to reach that apex, to reach that culmination point of success. And Saturn here does even inculcates fear into the individual, because when the Saturn creates a lot of agitation. Normally people with the Saturn in the third house, they are quite used to taking shortcuts when they see that the things are not going the way they want them to, or when they see that the whole world is full of corruption and people are screwing them. Then why shouldn't I be behind? I shall also join those people. And what if I manipulate or window dress the balance sheets of my company, or I cheat the gullible customers, or I manipulate stuff and sell something and sell something by telling that this is worth of this thing, and it has these benefits, while in reality it does not. So Saturn here tells this individual that you take a shortcut in order to reach your goal early, and I'll make sure that I'll make you swim those 7 oceans before you get there. And just when you will be getting there, a meter before that, I'll make you freeze in that ocean itself. So this is the lesson that Saturn wants to teach in the third house. It ultimately makes a man. In fact, I believe that Saturn in third house does wonderful and remarkable, although it gives results in the third house a bit late, but it makes you a self-accomplished man. And that's the best thing about Saturn in the third house. So guys, you must have got some amount of indication as to how the planets in the third house behave, and what are the lessons. They put us through all the chaotic situations, all the turmoil, turbulent situations, and the seemingly difficulties that they bring in. We just feel like we are dragged against that wall. But what has bogged down us at that time is going to become the pillar of our strength 5 years from now. And that'll be something that the lessons we have learnt by falling again and again, that the Saturn puts us through. It's going to lay the foundation of our success. It's going to make us become those staunch and resolute personalities 5 to 6 years down the line. That anything that after 5 to 6 years of struggle, your attitude would be like, come what may, I am not going to give up. My attitude would be like that of a soldier. I'll think like a soldier, that if I have decided, no matter what obstacles, what hindrances, what hurdles come my way, I'll reach my goal no matter what. So your attitude is like a soldier who is like, I'll go to the war front and I'll chop the head of my enemy and come as a victorious soldier, or I'll die in the pursuit of winning over my enemy. But I would not surrender. I would not succumb to my enemy at any cost. I'll fight till that last 1 ml of oxygen is there in my lungs. I'll fight till that last 1 ml of blood is running in my veins. This is what Saturn, want to teach us, only to bless us with something extraordinary. And once you have passed the Saturnian test, then the Saturn person is like, okay, you wanted your company to become a $1 billion company. Okay, yours company will become a $10 million company. You wanted to be among the top 100 richest people in your country. Since you have passed my test, I'll put you among the top 100 people, not in your country, but in the entire world. So this is the thing that third house is all about. So guys, now that I have given you the example of how Saturn does in the third house, let me give you another example. This time we'll be taking up the planet of romance and affairs, of course. It's Venus. So what does Venus do when Venus comes into the third house in Vedic astrology? I know by giving this example, I'll be stretching the length of this video way too much. But what I actually believe is that if you learn, it's better to learn one thing rather than learning 10 things, picking the tits and bits of all those 10 things, and you don't have in-depth knowledge of those 10 things. It's better to get that one thing, but when you study that one thing, you make sure that you become a master at it. That is when somebody, that is if you are the person watching my video, when somebody would ask you about the third house in Vedic astrology, maybe you are a novice, maybe your knowledge about the other concepts in Vedic astrology or about the other houses in Vedic astrology or anything, any other topic of debate in Vedic astrology, maybe you won't have a word to say. But when it would come to the third house, you would have all the tools, you would have all the tools in your arsenal to prove that what all you know about the third house in Vedic astrology is actually correct, and your knowledge is complete. So anyways, what does Venus do when Venus comes into the third house? Well, there's a misconception. Most of the people believe that that since this third house, as I originally told you, that it's the house that is originally controlled by Mercury, and the planet Venus is friends with the planet Mercury. So most of the people believe that Venus here is kind of is an easy placement, and it gives you results very early. But the things that I have personally seen in my studies are very contrary, and I'll stick to that very fact that you cannot undermine the energy that the houses in Vedic astrology hold. Of course, the planets will have their own effect, but it's the houses that are more important than the planets. So as I told you, that the third house is a house of growth and desires. It makes you work your ass off only to bless you with something great in the end. It doesn't give you things that easily, and similar happens with this placement of Venus in the third house. So what might happen is that unlike what most of the people think, that Venus placed here is gonna bring you a very communicative partner, or you're gonna get the women of your dreams, or the guy of your dreams. It's gonna be that cherry on the cake that you can easily move towards that cake, pick up the cherry and savor it. No, the things are not that easy. In fact, with this placement of Venus in the third house, the romantic alliances or the love affairs in your life would always be a tough nut for you to crack. It will not be a cakewalk for you for sure. At least till the age of 28 or 30. Of course, they can be plus minus 1 years, but this is the age limit when the planets in the third house actually start giving the positive results. So what might happen with this individual who has the Venus in the third house is that he's gonna have a very tough time when it comes to the romantic affairs. So I'll give you an example of what all situations might or the energies that Venus might bring into this person's life. So let's suppose he's a boy. So what will happen is that, let's suppose he's a very soft, sophisticated, very loving, very emotional guy who is very emotionally attached to the people, and he cares for them, whosoever he is emotionally attached to. And suddenly he meets a girl, and they both get into this relationship, and the things were rosy in the beginning, but this guy would he would always call that girl 10 times in a day. He would want every detail of where she is. He would want to make sure that is she with a safe company, what is she doing, has she taken her lunch, has she taken her dinner, is she taking care of her health or not. And that is this guy's way of showing his love, his concern for his girlfriend or for his fiance. But this girl might feel so suffocated in that relationship, might feel so agitated, that she may ultimately decide to pull the curtains on this relationship and call that relationship off, because her thought process is like, fine, that's fine enough. I know he's a good guy, but the way he behaves is a little, that is too much for me to digest. That is too much for me to handle. I need a dose of my personal freedom. I need my personal space in a relationship, which he's not ready to give me. And this guy gets ditched by this girl. Now, Venus here teaches this guy that relationships are not about being possessive. It's about giving that individual, whether you are with a girl of your dreams or you are with the boy of your dreams, you got to realize the fact that she has her own life. She has her own goals, her own aspirations to be fulfilled in life. So you got to respect her as an individual personality and give her or him his personal space. This is the Venus. This is the lesson that the Venus want to teach this individual. And finally, this guy would actually realize this fact and learn this lesson. Now this guy meets another girl, and he kind of behaves in the similar manner, that he is not possessive like he was in the earlier relationship, and he values her as an individual perspective. He takes her point of view into consideration. But now, let's suppose the girl he is dating right now, she says that let's suppose at 12 at midnight, she says that I am going out. Then, although this guy, he is ambiguous, he's kind of perturbed inside. He wants to ask that girl that where is she going? Will she be safe? Will she be with the people, and in order to make sure that her security is not threatened, since she's going out at the night time. But the images of that past relationship that broke off because of his over possessiveness is still haunting him, to the extent that he might ultimately decide that although I am very perturbed. I would be in a state of agitation. I would remain worried till the time she comes back. But as she leaves the house, he won't even budge. He won't even ask the girl who is she going with, where she's gonna be. That is, what's the place she's going to, and he doesn't even care to ask that when is she gonna come back, because he doesn't want this relationship to break off as a previous relationship. And that likely chances are that this time he might be dating a girl who might be kind of a Cancerian, Scorpion, or a Piscean personalities. So these three personalities are kind of people who want integration of the mind, soul, physical. They want a spiritual kind of a connection with the person. And if possible, these three kind of Cancerians, Scorpions, and Pisces, these are the people who if practically possible, they would want those two united and two souls to become one, which is not practical in this, which is not practical in reality. And this girl might be like, what kind of a moron am I dating? What kind of a male chauvinist am I dating, that he is not even concerned about my security issues, that I am leaving the house at 12 at night. And she might draw the curtains this time because this guy was not caring for her. And this guy is literally, he wants to just screw his hair out that, what the hell is happening with me? You know, he'll be like, in the previous relationship, I was tagged as an over possessive person. I learned the lesson of life. In this relationship, I valued her viewpoint. I fulfilled all her expectations. I did whatever I could do at my end, although it was not possible for me. But I gave her, the full freedom as to do whatever she wanted to do. And now she labeled me as a male chauvinist and just left me. What the hell is wrong with my life? So here Venus wants to tell this individual is that although there is no single funda of what calls for, or what is needed for a relationship to flourish, or what calls for a successful relationship, but you got to realize that you got to respect yourself as an identity. You got to respect yourself first, and this is something that will make the relationship flourish. Just because you meet a woman of your dreams doesn't mean that you will go beyond the extent of your beliefs. You will sacrifice your belief system in order to entertain that girl. If that girl wants you to become an alcoholic, work alcoholic, doesn't mean you will become one. What if you tomorrow become a work alcoholic and you meet a woman who wanted you to be hippie and travel the world with her with no such with no such work issues holding a prime importance in her life? So what if then the thing's gonna go haywire? So here Venus wants to tell this individual is that the relationships are like business, where the two identities bring in those 50-50 energies, where it's not about sacrificing yourself just in the pursuit of making the other person happy. You got to raise your hands. You got to put across your viewpoint. So if there comes across a situation where you feel that the girl who you are dating is doing something that you cannot digest, it is high point that you put across your point to that girl, yet in a very channelized way. You can be assertive, but you should not be aggressive. Are you getting? Here Venus wants to teach you shall be assertive but not aggressive, and this is how the relationship will work. And guys, one important thing that I missed on, I didn't tell you that third house is a house of communications. That is the way you communicate your feelings. So what are the ways in which an individual conveys his or his thought process? Is it through his writings? This makes it a house of the writers, or it is through verbally speaking our thoughts, that we convey our feelings or whatever we are feeling inside by verbally speaking that out. This is how we convey our thoughts to whomsoever we are talking with, or we convey our feeling by expressions. Either it's by staying mum, or putting a certain expression like a blink of an eye, or a grim expression on the face. These are the gestures that also convey what all we are feeling inside. And I'll let you know how. Let's suppose I wear something like this on my face. Then what does it actually connote? It actually connotes that if I go wearing this to a party, then it actually tells you people that I am here to make you people laugh. I am here to entertain you people, right? Since I am wearing this funny face, masquerading my head. And let's suppose I go by wearing this Spider-Man mask to the party. Then what would you gonna be thinking of me? You gonna be thinking like I am playing the role of a savior. I am somebody who can help you come out of trouble. I am somebody who can rescue the life of the people who are in some sort of a danger, right? So anyways, was I not looking clownish using these masks? Anyway, so this is the way the thoughts gonna be conveyed. So here Venus wants to tell this individual, why I was using this masks, I'll tell you now, that Venus here wants to tell this individual that relationships work by the proper communication. So let's suppose if you are putting up with a girl, or if you're putting up with a boy, and let's suppose I'll take the similar example. If you are dating a girl, then let's suppose she is busy working, completing her office work, and she is on her desk after coming home, and she has been constantly working 5 hours without caring of what you have been doing. And then after this 5 hours, although she loves you a lot, she realizes the importance of how to take care of the household, how to complete the work at the right time, so that she might get promotion, which ultimately going to let that relationship flourish. So in order to showcase her love, she might come to this individual for a minute with a just blissful smile on her face, and she might hug that boy very tightly. So now that boy, it's the Venus that gonna tell this boy that that you got to realize that you are working in this modern age that is highly competitive in nature, and in order for that woman to validate her love, doesn't necessarily mean that every time she'll come to you and get physical and intimate in order to showcase her love for her, or every time she will not have the time to sit with you for a long conversation of 2 to 3 hours. You got to understand what's within her heart, that when she smiles and when she comes and gives you that hug, that is her way of showing that she was doing that work, she left that work, and just she came in order to showcase that she feels for that guy. So you got to understand that. And when this guy learns all these lessons that are taught by Venus in the 3rd house, this is the time when the planet Venus blesses him with a beautiful partner. So the attitude of Venus would be something like this. So if this guy would have called for would have asked Venus for, or would have actually visualized him to be blessed with a girl of her dreams who is very beautiful. So what Venus might say, since you have passed my test, I'll not only bless you with a beautiful woman, but I'll bless you with one of the most astonishing beauties in town. Somebody like an angel there. I would bless you with one of the most astonishing girls in town, and who will love you 10 times more than you love her. And when you meet that girl, she's gonna open new horizons. She's gonna open a whole new world of opportunities and bountiful enthusiasm. She's gonna bring all those positive energies, and she's gonna introduce you to the real happiness that was missing in your life for decades. So guys, now by giving all these examples, haven't I clarified the fact that how important and how blissful it is for the planets to be placed in the 3rd house. Now most of the astrologers, they just consider it as a defamed house, but as it is said that wherever there is happiness exists just because there is evil, right? The good face in your life, you call a face a purple or a good face in your life just because there exists a black face. If there is no black face, there is no bad face, then there is no good face also. If there is no evil, then there is no definition of something that is good. So wherever there is struggle, there will be rewards for sure. And this is the 3rd house in Vedic astrology is all about. So guys, I hope I did justice to this 3rd house astrology episode, and in case I missed on to something, I'll be covering in the second part of the video, which I'll be churning out to you people in a few days to come. So till then, this is your host RISHU signing off, and again I like to wish you Merry Christmas, and just enjoy this day and have a gala time. Before I just leave, for those of you who feel that if I have given you a little bit of a new perspective of thinking on Vedic astrology, if I have succeeded in teaching you something great about or something new about the third house, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And those who understand only the human mind works in images, so if you are that one that masked person, then I like to tell that do look at that red button below that YouTube screen. Pressing that red button, that will subscribe you to my channel and keep you updated with the latest feeds. So this is your host signing off. Bye guys.